Hello friends, welcome to our PMC Season 3 Draft Recap version 2.0. This is Phantom Base, and we are the coach of the New York Cosmogs. Let me actually go and throw my logo up because I'm dumb and didn't do that. I'm crazy, what am I thinking? That should always be on these. Yeah, let's slide that right over here. Boom. Alright, so yeah, we are the coach of the New York Cosmogs, as you see that giant logo up there. And today we're going over our draft recap because, what do you know, we had to redraft because we decided that we weren't going to risk the megas not being available to some of the players. So we decided to redraft and we were able to keep at least one Pokemon, only one Pokemon from our team before. So we decided to franchise Magearna. Megan the Magearna is going to be on our team, and my reasonings for that one still stand. This thing hits like an absolute truck. Base 130 special attack and gains a special attack boost every time something dies on the field. It doesn't matter how it dies, it just has to die. And that's what's ridiculous. This thing can also be run super duper bulky. Base 115 in both defenses and 80 HP is nothing to sneeze at. And it's got just enough lower speed that it can be run safely in Trick Room, which is really nice to have. But I decided, you know what, I wanted to complete my Fairy Dragon Steel Core right off of my second pick, and I decided we were going to do that right away with Captain Crunch. Latios is returning to our team from Season 2. Another hard-hitting special attacker with base 130 special attack, but I wanted the speed this thing could offer. Base 110 is breaking that base 100 speed cap, which is what I really wanted, so I'm really happy about that. And as you guys have seen with Latios last season, it's a good defogger. It's also a great Scarf Mon. It's a great Specs Mon. This thing just hits like a truck, and I'm super excited to have it on our team. Now next I wanted a Pokemon that could resist anything that could hit both of these Pokemon. So we need something that can resist ice, we need something that can resist ground, we need something that can resist fire. And I believe we picked up one of the best Pokemon that we could. We grabbed Araquanid. Phobia the Araquanid is coming with us. Only because I couldn't fit Arachnophobia in as a nickname, sadly. What's the matter, Sophie? Booger. Booger, booger, booger. Yeah, my daughter's right here to my right. And I would show her to you, but no. But yes, we have Araquanid, the specially defensive monster, who can also serve as a freaking smacker. Water Bubble is an amazing ability that doubles water attacks, prevents burns, and halves fire attacks. So essentially, it resists fire without actually resisting fire. It also gives it an incredibly strong boost in a physical attack, with it having liquidation, and on top of that it gets things like lunge, which drop attack every time it hits. It gets leech life, which has been superly buffed this season. This thing can be run super specially defensive, it can be run physically defensive. If you look at that, base 92 defense isn't bad. It can just be an assault vest user, it can be a straight up killer. This thing is pretty versatile, this is what I was shooting for. Now next up, I decided to grab Alola Marowak because I wanted something to resist the electric attacks. And I figured with Lightning Rod, because that's infinitely the better ability this thing could have, I wanted this thing to be able to be immune to electric attacks and be able to hit really hard. With the Thick Club, this thing is double the attack. So normally that's sitting there, I mean if it was base 80 I think it caps out, I don't remember what the stat is. But what are you doing, Booger? But anyway, I think it hits really hard, and with Flare Blitz and Shadow Bone, Boomerang, this thing almost goes unmatched. We can run Trick Room and just let this thing run shop, or we can run Sticky Webs if we had it. But as you'll see, we'll see what else we've got on the team. And so the next thing I thought was, okay, my team's pretty weak to rocks. I've got Arachnophobia over there with a weakness to rocks. I've got Bones here with a weakness to rocks. Shoutouts if you get the reference. Thank you, Verd, for knowing the reference. And I decided, you know what, besides the Defogger, we need a Rapid Spinner. So I thought I'd grab Pinhead Larry, the Hitmon top, because I wanted an Intimidator first and foremost, because most of my team is physically defensively weak. So I thought I would grab a Spinner and an Intimidator to kind of mitigate that. Plus this thing is just a really good specially defensive wall, good physically defensive wall, and it's really just good for hazard removal. It's good for attacking Technician and smacking things. This Pokemon is all around really good. It's really versatile because you don't really know whether it's going to be a support set, whether it's going to be an attacking set, you don't really know. And so it's really good in that regard. Now next up I was like, I want something that can just hit with pure power on both ends of the spectrum, physical or special, and I wanted another electric immunity, and I also wanted another fairy counter. And so I thought, what the heck, why not grab Nidoking? Because we're not going to be running no Poison Point though. We are going to slap Sheer Force on this thing because the Sheer Horse is here. Shoutouts to Trev, aka Sheer Force, and him. Sadly, he dropped the league. Otherwise, I would have. He dropped this league when we drafted the first time, but that's okay. He's a good guy. I really appreciate him. He had a lot of leagues going on as it was, so I don't blame him for dropping. But we got Sheer Horse, the Nidoking here, and this thing can be run. It's got base 1 and 2 attack, which is crazy. If you run physical, if you run special, with the special move pool is ridiculous. With things like Sludge Wave, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, or you can go physical with Poison Jab, Earthquake, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Rock Slide, things like that. What are you doing? It also gets Sucker Punch, which is really nice to have. It also gets Stealth Rocks and Toxic Spikes, in case I decided to be cheeky and run some kind of hazards, which would be really silly, but at the same time, I don't really... You never really know in League format what you might bring. So, really quick, I'm going to switch over because I actually do have my Week 1 prep already up, and I don't want that to be showing up in this video. So I'm going to cut that out really fast, and we're going to go and look at the second half of the team. And there we go, and 3, 2, 1, we're back, and the next thing I decided is we need another rock setter besides just Nidoking. Because Nidoking is great and all, but it isn't good for rocks. Like, it's not fast enough to set up rocks if it's a speedy one, and it's not bulky enough to let it hit if it's going to set up rocks. So I really wanted a Pokemon. There weren't any good bulky rock setters left over, so I decided I was going to bring a fast rock setter. And I decided to grab Lycanroc Day. Balto, the Lycanroc Day, is coming with us. With Accelerock on its side, plus Stealth Rocks, Taunt, Crunch. I mean, this thing is really good for speed. The speed is what I wanted it for. And to hit flying types, ice types, a lot of things with priority is going to be really nice to have. Because, and I don't foresee us using Keen Eye too much. I see more Sand Rush or even Steadfast. But Lycanroc is going to be really good here, just because we're going to be able to use it to set up rocks. We're going to be able to use it to taunt things from setting up rocks. And it's just going to be an all-around good Pokemon to hit it, if you wanted to bring it Banded or Scarfed, it would be really crazy. It's also a Pokemon over the base 100 speed tier, which is what I really wanted. Our next Pokemon is Galvantula, another returner from Season 1. And this Pokemon I wanted for webs. That is the sole reason why I wanted it. I wanted it for webs and Electric Stab. And this Pokemon can be really good. You slap a Specs on this thing's crazy. What are you talking about? This thing gets sticky webs, this thing gets Bug Buzz, Energy Ball, Thunder, Volt Switch. You can slap any hidden power on there you wanted. It gets Sucker Punch, it gets Poison Jab if you wanted to be stupid and run it physical. But this thing is usually going to be a suicide lead most of the time. I could also run on Nerve on it to give it some, so they won't be able to use some berries or whatever, which actually could come in handy. I can foresee that being a useful thing. Now, the next thing I thought was I want a grass type. All the good grass types were gone, and I was in the lower tier pickings at this point. So like, I wanted to grab a decent grass type, and I wanted another Defogger. So I decided to grab Lurantis. And I know what you're thinking. This Pokemon is kind of goofy looking. It's decently bulky though, and it gets Contrary. Fun fact of the day: anything decides to go for Parting Shot, then we're in for some trouble. And on top of that, Contrary allows us to run Leaf Storm on this thing and actually have it be viable. So this thing is gonna be really good for those Contrary boosts when things want to come in and run Intimidate. It's kind of a make them think twice thing. This thing also gets to Fog. It's a good just support set. I mean, I really want to see what else it gets. It gets Aromatherapy, which is another thing I wanted. I wanted something with Aromatherapy. It gets Petal Blizzard, Leech Life, Poison Jab, Sing, obviously gets Toxic and stuff like that. I wouldn't run Sword Stance on it unless I was running Leaf Guard. Overall, this thing is Ingrain, but it doesn't get anything crazy. Like, it gets Weather Ball. Ooh, might use that. Anyway, this thing gets Leaf Storm. Like I said, it gets Leaf Blade. It gets Solar Blade, which I don't foresee it using too much, just because it's a charge-up move. I would have to run Power Herb on it. Either that, or I would have to run the Grassy Z, this is not one of my Z Pokemon, sadly. So, anyway, that's our John Bon Jovi the Lurantis. Now we're going to go into another Season 1 returner with young Avalugg. Boat Wrecker the Avalugg is making a return At base 184 defense and base 95 HP, this thing is going to be a great physical wall. To kind of mix it up with having some good walls to balance with Araquanid. So, it doesn't share any weaknesses other than rock, and I sincerely doubt that any physical rock moves are going to be doing a whole lot unless it's a Z-rock move. And we're running sturdy, so that's always a good thing, and we can always run, you know, mirror code on this thing. This thing is another rapid spinner, by the way, so it's really nice to have that too. Avalanche is good on this thing. Crunch, Iron Head, Heavy. I think he gets Heavy Slam. Pretty sure he gets Heavy Slam. This thing does not get Heavy Slam. Fun fact of the day. Pretty sure, yeah, it doesn't get Heavy Slam, but it does get Rock Tomb. It gets Icy Wind if I wanted to go cheeky. It gets Gyro Ball. That's what I was thinking. It gets Gyro Ball. And this thing is incredibly slow. So this thing would be really good. Also gets Earthquake, which is nice to have in case you wanted to bring in, say, a Heat Train against me. So that being said, our last Pokemon, I wanted a Wish Passer, I wanted another Heal Beller, and overall, I just wanted a Pokemon that could, you know, deal well with general hits overall. And we decided to grab Doc Theodino, who gets all the elemental special moves, Thunderbolt, I believe. Yeah, it gets Thunderbolt, it gets Ice Beam, it gets Fire Blast, all that junk. It gets all sorts of good. It just gets all sorts of good moves. It gets Knockoff, which can be really useful. It gets Trick Room, which is another good thing. I wanted another Trick Room user. This thing also can run things like Gravity, Entrainment. This thing is a really good support set, like a really good support user, especially with things like Encore and Calm. It can be a Calm Mind setup on. It can run Knockoff, like I said. It can run Magic Coat, which is another good thing. Like, this thing is just going to be our good center support Pokemon. And that's literally all. Like, this whole team is just really good. I feel like it's different than the first team I drafted, but I'm not upset by it. So, if you guys like this, make sure you slap the like button at the bottom of this video to show your support. And that's all it's been from me. This has been Phantom Base. I'm gonna get up out of here, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye, guys.